All right, in a breaking update, we are getting to know that Bilkis Bano has now filed a review plea in the Supreme Court, and she has challenged the May 22 judgment of the Supreme Court, which had asked the Gujarat government to make the 1992 remission rules applicable for considering the remission of the 11 convicts in the case. We have Harish joining us with more details on that, because Harish, what's been pointed out here is that the 1992 rules did not prevent the release of the gangrape or the murder convicts, and Bano herself filing the review petition is significant, as the Gujarat government and the convicts have said that the social activists who moved the court earlier had no locus standi. Harish.
Yes, very big development as far as the Bilkis Bano case is concerned. The victim herself, Bilkis Bano, has filed a review plea in the Supreme Court. She has challenged the May 2022 judgment of the Supreme Court in one of the convict Radhesham Bhagwan Das order in matter in which Supreme Court had allowed Gujarat government to make the 1992 remission rules applicable for considering the remission of the 11 convicts. Remember, the 1992 rules did not prevent release of rape, gangrape or murder convicts. Bano herself filing the review petition is very, very significant. Remember, as the Gujarat government and the convicts had submitted affidavits in Supreme Court questioning the locus of the social activists like Subhashini Ali and Mahua Moitra, who had challenged the release of the 11 convicts, and Supreme Court ruling in May had come on a petition filed by one of the convicts, Radhesham Bhagwan Das, seeking release on the remission. The review petition very significantly also questioned how the Gujarat government was given the power to release these 11 convicts, while the Maharashtra government had the locus, as the trial had taken place in Maharashtra. So the two petitions have been filed. One, the review petition challenging the May 22 judgment of the Supreme Court, as per which the Supreme Court gave the Gujarat government liberty to use the 1992 rules. Number two, another petition has been filed challenging the release of all these 11 convicts by the Gujarat government, saying that such a release should not have taken place in such a gruesome and heinous offence. And while though the Supreme Court had only allowed the Gujarat government to use the 1992 rules, it was the Gujarat government too had a discretion not to release all these 11 convicts. Back to you.
Right, but Harish, here is the victim who is directly challenging what it comes to the release of the convicts there, because the Gujarat government earlier in court had defended its decision to release the convicts in accordance to the 1992 remission policy.
Yes, that is precisely the point raised in the review petition. Bilkis Bano in her petition has said that it was the Supreme Court which allowed, the Supreme Court's May 2022 judgment by a two-judge bench, which had allowed the Gujarat government to use these rules. The very judgment of the Supreme Court is wrong, and that is why the Bilkis Bano has filed a review petition against that Supreme Court order, saying that now a larger bench should hear, and that too should be heard in an open court. Today, her lawyer Shobha Gupta at 10:30 mentioned before the Chief Justice of India and said that this petition need to be listed as early as possible. Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud has said that a decision regarding when the matter should be heard will be decided by evening today itself.
All right, we also have Madhav Das joining us here on the broadcast. Madhav, now Bilkis Bano herself filing the review petition becomes all the more significant, and the Gujarat government and the convicts had said, as far as the Supreme Court saying that social activists who had moved the court earlier had actually no locus standi. Here is the victim herself approaching the court.
Well, absolutely. This is very, very significant, because earlier where the locus standi, as you rightly said, of activists was questioned, now, of course, the locus standi of a person who is, in fact, the direct victim of that particular crime. The conviction, remember, has taken place. There's no doubt about the fact that an offense has taken place. But it is the remission which is, of course, now becoming an extremely sensitive issue, because the heinous nature of the crime that did take place at that point of time. And with Bano herself filing this review petition, it's significant, as the Gujarat government and convicts had said that earlier, in fact, the social activists had no locus standi.
So Bilkis Bano herself moving the Supreme Court and opposing the release of the convicts. Brinda, what is your point here?
I think that is important that the Supreme Court re-look at this case. There was no reason for those 11 convicts to have been given any kind of remission. Guidelines from the Supreme Court itself are very clear. Cases of rape and murder do not get remission. And by giving this remission to 11 convicts, all 11 of them, for the sake of votes, the government has just said that they are least bothered about women's safety, and certainly not concerned about justice. So Bilkis Bano asking the court to relook and ensure that these people go back into the prison where they belong is an apt application that she has made. And social workers across the country are also asking for the same.
All right, Brinda, thanks very much for your point of view there. But Madhav, coming back to you on that, because the answers that were sought from the Gujarat government, Zeenat Shaukat Ali ma'am is also with us here on the broadcast. Ma'am, what do you have to say? It becomes all the more significant with Bilkis Bano herself now approaching the court.
Hello.
Yes.
I think, when she has asked for a remission and really, those people who had been let loose after murdering and I think the Supreme Court, I would beg of the Supreme Court to review her plea and to look into what she's asking for. Because, criminals...
Right. Zeenat ji, thank you very much for your point of view. Raza ji हमारे साथ जुड़ रहे हैं, who is the uncle of Bilkis Bano. Raza ji, आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है सर? हाँ, तो आप बता सकते हैं ये जो जिस तरीके से बिल्किस बानो आप खुद सुप्रीम कोर्ट का दरवाजा खटखटा रही हैं, क्या लिखा है उनकी पिटीशन में?
अभी तक तो मेरे को क्या है कि वकील के साथ बात नहीं हुई है। हेलो
जी बताएं।
हाँ, वकील के साथ बात होगी जब मैं आपको बताऊंगा सब क्या है और किस तरह करना है, वो सब में वकील के साथ बात हुई है, जब बाद में मैं बताऊंगा आपको।
अच्छा, चलिए ठीक है, धन्यवाद आपका हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए। सो दैट इज द अंकल who is now saying that after speaking to the concerned lawyers, he will be speaking at length. But here is Bilkis Bano herself challenging the May 2022 judgment of the Supreme Court, which had asked the Gujarat government to make the 1992 remission rules application for considering remission of those 11 convicts.